Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Tech Happy Hour for Monday, the 4th of April. May. I totally know what day it is. May the 4th be with you, by the way. Look, as seen by my... this side, Star Wars peeps. They've been there for ages. But anyway, just in case you haven't noticed. So, just in case you missed any of it last week, it is our Tech Happy Hour at 5 p.m. every day. Well, we start off at 3, now we're at 5, but we're from 5 here on out. So every weekday, we will answer your tech questions live and for free. If you don't want to appear on the live stream with us, which it seems most people don't want to do, so that's fine. You can actually send your question in or ask your question ahead of time by getting in contact with us through any of our contact details listed on our website, which is www.the.mill.com. So we have a few questions here for today, but basically, look, let me give you a rundown again, just in case, like I said, you missed it last week. All the pubs are closed at the moment. You can't actually go out anywhere and, have a drink, but you can grab a drink and sit down and join us and talk tech. Look, this week I have the addition of ice, and today I'm drinking SARS. That's one of my hairs in my drink. Let's not drink that. Anyway, if you have any tech questions, feel free to ask them during the stream. Otherwise, I'm going to go through some of the tech questions that we've had come in between our last stream and now. Or actually, we have a list of tech questions as well. So we'll answer as many of those as we can. Just notice that live stream is clicking on it a little bit. If that becomes a problem, someone comment. Oh, look, we have a comment. Hello from Chloe. Hi, Chloe. Good to see you again. But yes, so that's all the housekeeping taken care of. Let's get on with it. So, actually, before I start with any questions, no one's really asked me about this specifically, but I've heard a lot of people talking about this, and this is advertising on social media. And the fact that it seems like that you don't even necessarily need to type something in to search for it or click anything related whatsoever. And yeah, you'll start seeing ads for it. Now look, if you were following late into last Friday's stream, so the 1st of May, you would have noticed that we had a guest all the way from Pakistan. He called in. He didn't have video enabled, but we were able to talk to him by audio. And yeah, he had some questions about IT and just chatting about life in general, which was all well and good. If you want to do that, the link is in the description. You can join our live stream at any point between now and when it ends, and yeah, that's an option. Like I said, most people aren't taking that option, but it is an option if you want it. So if you're paying attention though, in his stream he was talking about studying cybersecurity, and he had mentioned that he was accepted as an international student, obviously because he's not in the country, and before coronavirus hit he was going to come here and study cybersecurity at RMIT. So what's that exactly? I know it's in Melbourne, but I want to get this right. RMIT University, formerly known as the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology. There we go. That's what I thought it was. I just wanted to double check. But yeah, he mentioned that he was studying cybersecurity there. And look, that's something I've never looked into studying. Obviously, cybersecurity is something that I'm interested in doing what I do. But yeah, later that night, I was just doing what I do and browsing Facebook, and out of all the stuff, like all the ads that come up, the usual things that come and go here and there, it was interesting because this ad came up. Let me just get that. Which, if you notice, the topic of the ad is to learn cybersecurity, which you think, okay, fine, that's not too bad because, like I said, cybersecurity is something that I research and something that I'm keeping track of and following and interested in. So that's not really unexpected. And to see who the ad is from, which is RMIT, which, if you put the pieces of the puzzle together, that was exactly what was mentioned on the live stream by the guy who joined us. Now, look, I didn't search anything to do with RMIT until just before, when I searched what RMIT stood for. I hadn't typed to tell anyone about this. All we'd had was the video conference or the video call really into our live stream for the guy to say that he was interested in it. And that was it. And then somehow I start seeing ads for that. So look, this is probably fuel to the conspiracy theory fire that social media is actually listening to your audible voice, which it may very well be. Who knows? I'm not exactly sure how that happens, but there are other possibilities as well. It may not necessarily have been audibly listening. The other options are that, if you're linked to someone who has been searching for that, who is interested in that, and then you have similar interests, then it may show you anyway. It could just be coincidental that RMIT is advertising cybersecurity, given the whole coronavirus thing has forced a whole bunch of people or businesses really to start enabling work from home, which means opening up remote access to your systems, which then comes with a whole bunch of other cybersecurity issues, and cybersecurity is a big topic right now. So it could be that, but it just seems very, very, very coincidental. So read into that whatever you will. I just thought I'd touch on that briefly. But that being said, companies are very, very, or getting very, very, very clever with their marketing and their digital marketing, especially on social media. So if you go to a website of a company, or even if you click any of the links from a company, if you, open an email from them, if you click any of their ads, if you visit their Facebook page, if they've set it up right, you can actually see all the statistics for that from when people have visited, down to people like Facebook can actually keep track of you personally having seen that. Now, the advertiser or the company can't necessarily see specifically your name visited, that you specifically visited their content, but Facebook can, and then they can target people who did that. So say they want to target people who visited a particular page on their website. It's more than possible to do that without actually seeing your personal information. But you can still see that. Now, to take it a step further, we actually ran an ad not that long ago when we launched the telehelp technical support. So help by phone call, video call, chat, anything like that. And look here, Chloe says, I do some advertising on social media. What I want to know is, do you use any of these tools? Like, are you retargeting people who have visited any of your stuff? So visited your social media page, liked your page, visited your website, anything like that? Because it gets very complicated, but it's very, very powerful, but it can be also very, very annoying. So we ran an ad when we launched telehelp, when we launched our remote access technical support with the event of coronavirus. It's not necessarily a good idea for us to be going in person to people's houses or businesses or anything like that. So we took everything to remote, so we can do it without 100% contactless. Don't even have to see you face to face, and we can try and fix your stuff that way, which is a little bit more tricky, but one, we charged a lot less for it, hopefully to help people out, and two, it's not as much effort to actually physically go and drive somewhere and then do that. And three, we have a larger reach, so we could actually do that across anywhere in the world. Case in point, we answered some questions from a person in New Zealand earlier today, which, that's a bit of a walk from us. But we'll get to those a little bit later. But when we ran the ad for our telehelp remote technical support, we actually had a guy, what was it? I think it was angry react to our post. I'm like, that's weird. So I had a look, and he was actually just angry reacting to everybody who had a sponsored post that showed up to him. Now, look, I understand that you may not necessarily want to see all the sponsored stuff, but you know what? It's a free platform. Facebook doesn't charge you anything to access it, and they never have. I don't think they ever will, as far as I'm aware, for the end user to get on there, because why would they? The way that they make money off it is that then businesses pay to advertise on there because they have the audience and they have the statistics to help you reach the right audience, which means it costs you nothing. But for people who actually can value that information and make use of that they're the people who pay. People like us who pay for ads, and hopefully we can find something to help you. And you might think, well, that's creepy, but at the same time, I find at least that in some cases, sometimes it is annoying. Sometimes it's just like, I don't want to see that ad again. There's one particular ad that I see from somebody in particular. I won't mention their name or their company. More on YouTube than anything else, but I'm pretty sure I've seen it on Facebook as well. I can't remember. But anyway, I refer to him as the teeth because his teeth are just so big and so white and shiny. Obviously had some work done, but every time I see it or hear his voice, I'm just like, man, it's the teeth again. Just shut up and go away. But anyway, that's just me. I'm sure he has some good information, and some of you may know who I'm talking about. I've never met him personally or anything, so yeah, like I said, I'm not mentioning his name or his business because I'm not going to throw him under the bus like that. But yes, I refer to him as the teeth. But yeah, look, that's the trade-off. Like, if you obviously people are still using Facebook. Obviously, people like Facebook because it's been around for a long time now, and people are still using it. I know there's people who say I'm getting off it, and granted, people do, but compared to the amount of people on there, it's a free service, at least for you guys. And then, yeah, that's how it's paid for. People like us who want to advertise on there and try and get word of mouth out. Well, word of mouth is different to word. Just basically make you aware of our services that may or may not help you. Yeah, okay, some people are pushy about it, but and some people are just plain, I don't know what the term is, sleazy. Let's go with that about it. It doesn't have to be that way, but yeah, and some people are just very, very pushy. So yeah, but look, that's the trade-off. If you don't like it, fine, get off the platform. That's all I can say. Here we go. John Chapman says it's an effective tool. Yes, it very much is. I don't know if you heard all the explanation, but there's a lot of data that you can get from Facebook. It's actually good because even though it's collecting data about you personally, it doesn't give that, like, from the other side of it, being a business that advertises on Facebook, it doesn't actually give you everybody's personal information. It just lets you target demographics or statistics or things like that. For example, you can target parents of school, like primary school or high school age students, which, you know, if you're selling back to school stuff, that could actually be helpful. Stuff like that. Yeah, and like I said, it means that the platform stays free for the end user. The only people who have to pay for it, and the ones who then in effect keep it running and keep it going, are the ones who want to make use of the data that they have. Anyway, that's my opinion on it. You can, I don't know, like I said, if you don't like it, you're welcome to get off the platform. It's free. Like, what do you want? I did mention last week too, though, that I have heard someone say, with all the people complaining about privacy, it's amazing how much privacy people give up for convenience. So if something is free or something is going to be free, if you just enter your name and email address, people just give it away. It's just, yep, here, take it. Free Wi-Fi? Yep. Need my email address? Sure. Here, take it. You can't blame them for that. Like, you gave it away. John says, also, I'm kind of a fan of targeted advertising. If I'm going to see ads, I would rather see ones that relate to me. Bingo. That's a very big thing too, which I kind of talked about, started touching on just before. But yeah, that's true. Instead of, like, if you were to sit down and watch TV, and I don't know anybody who actually watches free-to-air TV anymore, I don't think. Not in my age bracket anyway, or lower. Then yeah, you're going to see ads who are just, like, they're just not targeted to you. They're just there for everybody to see. But if you're going to take up your time or your screen space with something, wouldn't you rather it be something that you may actually be interested in? By the way, you do have the option to tell, like, the ad, or tell the system that you don't want to see those ads again, or you don't want to see ads from those advertisers again. It's usually like a menu thing that you can access on them and tell them, no, I'm not interested in this. And then that will actually help with the statistics too, linked to you. It's like, well, we know he's not interested in that, or she's not interested in this, or they're not interested in that, you know? So, you know, help them to help you. I find it interesting. Sometimes I learn new things. Sometimes I learn exactly how I don't want to run ads. Just putting it out there. Anyway, we should probably answer some questions because it's been almost 15 minutes, so a quarter of the time, and I'm waffling on about, well, not a lot in particular. So I mentioned that we had someone who contacted us from New Zealand and they wanted some questions answered earlier. So I'm going to answer those. I've already given them the answers directly, but basically the story goes is they were given an older, or or by older I mean not brand new. So they were given a laptop, second-hand laptop that's not used. It'd been wiped back to clean installation of Windows 10, but they said it still felt a bit laggy and a bit sluggish and slow and all that kind of thing. Oh wait, hang on, John's still going on the previous topic. Even TV though, they play ads at certain time slots over particular shows to try and target the right demographic. So why not have it in my social? That is correct, but even then, they're only really targeting, I guess they are targeting people who are interested in that show. For example, if you're watching, say, MasterChef, then they're going to target food-related stuff to you, you know, like whatever that grill was called, Hibachi Grill or something like that, apparently is selling. But that was product placement because that was in the show. But, you know, if they're going to advertise something like, what's the other big thing that's popular? Air deep fryers apparently are popular at the moment. I'm a little bit into food, just not, I don't actually watch MasterChef, but enough for those headlines and things to grab my interest. Maybe a little bit too much into food. But anyway, that's my problem. Yeah, you're right. They do target, but they don't target specifically. Like, just to give an example, I can target an ad on Facebook to somebody who is connected to Wi-Fi, running a desktop or running a computer that has Windows 7 installed, which I have actually done because for a while we were promoting Windows 7 free upgrades to Windows 10. So yeah, we targeted people who were on Wi-Fi because they're more likely to be at home on their computer, and then people running computers running Windows 7. So yeah, you can't target that kind of thing with a TV ad. But yes, you're right. TV ads are somewhat targeted as well. Anyway, so back to the original question or topic or whatever you want to call it. I just realized I really need to clean my desk over there. That's a disaster. But anyway, we won't talk about that. So the question is, how do I make my older computer run faster? So like I said, the story is that, oh wait. Okay, John says that's pretty cool. Cool. Yes, it is. I'm not going to deny that. So yes, so how do you make your old computer run faster? In the first recommendation I would make, which doesn't apply in this case, because like I said, the person that contacted us had been given a second-hand laptop that had already been wiped back to a clean install of Windows 10. My first recommendation would have been wipe the computer back to a clean install of Windows, because you remove all the clutter, all the unnecessary programs and files and stuff that you don't need. Obviously, if you want to keep data off it, back that up first so you don't lose it. But once you've done that, or if there's nothing on there that you want to keep, wipe it and start again, because a clean installation of Windows is always nice, fresh, and fast. I should probably do one of those on my computer at some point soon. I just have so much stuff on here that I just couldn't be bothered, and yeah, not bad. I'm going to do that soon, trust me. But yeah, oh wait, sorry, later in the conversation, the same person did have another laptop, an older laptop, and they didn't know what to do with it. So that was my recommendation. Clean install of Windows. And look, that then leads to the next question, really, which is, how do I perform a clean install of Windows? So there's a few ways to do this, but let me just get screen number 2 up again. Screen number 2. Here we go. So this is my, let's remove the question so we can see. This is my second screen for broadcasting and such. So to do a clean install of Windows, you go to Start and then Settings, and then you can go to, I'm pretty sure it's Update and Security. It was on Windows 10, by the way. And then you can do Recovery on the left. Then you can go reset this PC. If your PC isn't running well, resetting it might help. This lets you choose whether to keep your personal files or remove them, and then reinstalls Windows. So you go, all right, get started. Then you can choose to, oh, that's on the screen. You can choose to keep your files or remove everything. So I guess you don't necessarily have to back up if you don't want to, but it's always a heck of a lot safer to do that. And realistically, you should have a backup anyway, but we won't talk about that today. That's going to be probably a whole our session on its own. So look, let's say we wanted to keep files. I wonder when I press cancel on this. Okay, ready to reset this PC. Resetting will change settings back to their defaults, keep personal files, remove all apps and programs, and it can show you a list of all apps to be removed. This will take a while, and your PC will restart. So look, we're not actually going to do that now because even though I said I need to do it, I'm not going to. So that is the first way. However, if your computer is either a new computer or your computer is just too far gone to be able to do that, or you've put a new hard drive in it and there's nothing on it, then you're going to need Windows setup files. So on a computer that's actually running, back a step further, sorry. Before, you used to have your original installation media, whether that's a CD, USB stick, something like that. Now you can actually go straight to Microsoft and download it for yourself. So see, if you go to, I don't even know where to go for that. There, Microsoft software download. Let's start from the start. So if we go to Microsoft, and then Windows 10, we need downloads. Or you could just do what I did in Google for download Windows 10. There we go, Windows disk image. Basically this. Yeah, that's exactly the same page I was looking at before. That's easier rather than trying to find the menus for you. It's probably easier for you and for me. Anyway, so you go to, usually you go download the Windows 10 media creation tool. So you can download the tool. And you'll need, I believe it's an 8 gigabyte or larger USB stick. Let me just check using this tool. Yeah, there we go. A blank USB flash drive with at least 8 gigabytes of space. Or if you want to go really old school, you can use a blank DVD and a DVD burner. But none of my computers actually have optical drives in them anymore by the look of it. So yeah, that's not really an option here. But yes, you can do that. So look, I've downloaded the tool, which didn't take very long. This is what that then looks like whenever it comes up. Here we go. So this will go through the process of then downloading what you need to install Windows 10. And then if you put the 8 gig USB stick in, then it will write to that for you and create the whole thing start to finish with just a few clicks of a button. It does take a fair while to download because it's a very big file, or big set of files. But yeah, that's all you need to basically install Windows 10 on a new computer. You can also use this to upgrade a computer from a previous version of Windows. You go through all that stuff, the legal stuff. Basically, at the end of it, you get exactly what you would have got if you'd bought a copy of Windows 10 on a USB stick to install. Yeah, and that can be used to install Windows 10 Home and Windows 10 Pro, and it will download the latest version of Windows 10 available at the time that you do this, because a lot of people don't know there is actually about, I lost count, there's at least 10 different versions of Windows 10, like different build numbers and stuff. I'm pretty sure the current latest version is version 1909, and just a brief one to find that, you can go to where is run on this thing. I press Windows key R usually, bring up the run box, and then type WINVER for Windows version. And then up the top you can see Microsoft Windows version 1909. The oldest one I think that I've seen so far is like running on a computer, I think was 15 something, 1504 or something like that. Anyway, all right, so look, this one, we go create installation media, we go next. Usually it'll pick all this stuff automatically from what you're running on. And then you go next, tell it USB stick or ISO file. I don't have a USB stick in there at the moment, so I'll go ISO file, and then it will ask you where to save. Although in most cases you'll probably go straight to your USB stick. But anyway, that's enough of that. So basically that is the two different ways that you can get a clean installation of Windows 10 onto your computer. After that, you put the USB stick into the computer and then boot off it if that varies from computer to computer. If you need help with that one, let me know and I'll see what I can do for you. But back to the other question was, the original question was, how do I make my older computer run faster? I've covered this before, but I'm going to cover it again. Where's that thing? Where's the box? Here we go. Buy an SSD and install an SSD. You don't need a big one. It can just be small. This one was only 120 gig. And that worked fine for the computer that it went into. I'll explain it again, just for those who missed it last time. So, I don't think I actually have an SSD to show anymore. I think I've used them all now. But basically, look, your traditional hard drive, or your actual hard drive, because those aren't hard drives, they're solid state drives or SSDs. So, wait. HDD versus SSD. There we go. So, your hard drive is a mechanical device. It has mechanical components in it. It's got metal platters with a motor that spins them, and then it has heads that magnetically read and write the data. Magnetically write and read the data. Something like that. Off the platters. So you've actually got the head that scans the metal disc for those things. So it's spinning and then tracks across that. Similar to, I guess, a vinyl record. Think of it like that. It's got to find the data at the right location on that metal disc. So that metal disc is spinning by a motor. So it's a moving part, like I said, mechanical component. When those mechanical components get older, they can start to slow down or wear out. I see that a lot. So that happens. And then, it's besides the fact that it's slow already because it's got moving parts, it seems to get slower with age as far as I've seen, which is, I guess, not really all that unexpected. It didn't happen so much before. Actually, now that I think of it, there could be another reason for that. But either way, it seems to be an age thing. So the other option, your SSD has no moving components. It is basically just a big block of memory chips, which is about the same as what you'd expect to find in your phone or your tablet device. Like an iPhone, iPad, smartphone of any kind, really. Now, they won't have an SSD in them. They'll have memory chips in them directly, like soldered to their circuitry, and you can't generally replace those. But it's the same concept. Memory chips for storage, no moving components. As fast as you can get the electrical impulses through them, either to read or to write, you can get the data. Now, not all SSDs are created equal. Some are faster than others. That's another long-winded explanation that I don't need to cover right now, unless somebody asks and wants me to. Otherwise, it's just, that's the best way I can think of to explain it to you. So if you put one of those, and I've done this several times, if you put one of those into an older computer, it will seem a heck of a lot faster, because a lot of the time, your biggest bottleneck in a computer, if it's got a hard drive, is waiting for the hard drive to deliver the data that you need, or to write the data that you need. And again, the other day I went through this, but I'll go through it again just in case. So if we bring back screen number 2, we go to Task Manager. Wait, let me do that a little bit slower. So if you right-click your taskbar down the bottom and click Task Manager, then you can, if it looks like this, the little one, then you can expand it and then go to the Performance tab. Now, if usually C drive is your system drive. So if your system drive is maxing out and topping out at 100% all the time, you probably need an SSD. I see it a lot, like a lot. Because like I said, that's probably going to be your bottleneck, and that'll be the indication that that is your bottleneck, because you'll just see it max out completely. Yeah, I don't know what else to tell you about that. That's pretty much it. But we may as well move on to the next question while we're here, while we've got the screen up, which is, where do I get free antivirus? This was another one of the questions asked by the same person. So, free antivirus, there is a lot of options out there, but generally there are 3 different ones that I recommend. So, the one that I actually use on my computers is called Kaspersky, which I'm not sure what language that is exactly. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that properly, but I've heard a lot of people try and say it a bunch of different ways. Apparently, the most common way that I keep hearing is Kaspersky. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Bitdefender. Bitdefender is also free, has a free version. But the thing with both Kaspersky and Bitdefender is that to use them, you need to register an account with them. You don't need to put in any payment details or anything like that. You just need to register an account with them. Like I said, I personally use Kaspersky. I know and have found out that on the free account, you can register up to 3 devices under the one registration. Oh, here we go. John says it's Russian. There we go. Cool. Good to know. And then the third one, okay, the third option, if you don't want to register an account and if you just want to be able to install free antivirus and have protection, there is AVG, which has been around forever, or it seems like forever. And they've been doing free antivirus for, well, forever and a day, really. Actually, probably since about the early 2000s. But anyway, they've been around for a long time. The other question that comes with this then is, do I need to buy antivirus? And that's really a personal decision. Like, all antivirus is doing the same thing. It's like, if you're wanting it as antivirus, then it's finding viruses that come through that are already on the computer, or stopping them from coming through. And all antivirus has real-time protection, so as you open files or read files, it will scan them, kind of thing. It may not necessarily scan everything you have on your computer, but usually when you install it, that's when you do a full scan, generally speaking, and find out what you do and don't have. Hopefully you don't have anything. But yeah, the free ones will always ask you to upgrade. So, they'll be like, we have a special, or, your computer's not protected from this, that, or the other. And, fine, you're not being covered by whatever it's for whatever it says. But if you're not worried about that, then you don't need to worry about it. Just close the thing and keep going as normal. That's all I ever do. Sometimes if you want those features, sure, add them. Big one at the moment with antivirus is VPN services. And I covered this the other day. You don't necessarily need a VPN service as an ordinary end user. You can have one if you want to, but I don't think it's the end of the world if you don't have one. And it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get hacked either. Actually, you know what? I'm going to cover that. Let me just get rid of this now. Oh, look, here. I just realized I don't know how to actually say your name. Is it Mariana? That's my guess. Anyway, thanks for answering my questions today, Nathan. So helpful. So, yeah, they're the questions that I've been answering today. Thank you for coming on and saying hi. But what I wanted to cover was, I don't actually have a thing for this, so let me just create that quickly. How likely am I to get hacked? Let's cover that one, because this is something that I think people freak out a little bit more than they should, or maybe that's not the right way to put it. I think the better way to put it is that, I did get the pronunciation correct. And cool, great work. Thank you. yeah, sorry, where was I? Okay, how likely am I to get hacked? The thing is, one, like I said, people freak out about it more than they have to, but I think two, hacking gets blamed for a lot of stuff that just isn't hacking. So when something goes wrong with a computer, I think the number one go-to response is I got hacked or I got a virus or something like that. And that, while it does still happen, it's not always the case. Sometimes it's just something else. But the big thing that I think people need to be more careful about than actually getting hacked is more being socially engineered, which technically is being hacked anyway, but let me explain. Being hacked, or hacking or getting hacked, is when someone gains access to something without authorization, like without your permission. Does that make sense? So if you haven't said that they can access something or given them, like, allowed them to do it as such, like with your permission, then I guess you could say you've been hacked. And this is where social engineering falls into it. So let me explain. So social engineering is when somebody tricks you into you doing something or giving over details that would then allow them to have access to your stuff that they wouldn't otherwise have. So, if let's go to let's go school kids, for example. It's like you pinky promise that if your friend pinky promises you that if he gives you his password or she gives you her password, if you give them their password, let me break that down again. Sorry. Your friend at school pinky promises that if you give them your password, they won't use it to send emails to the person that you like. Something like that anyway. So you trust them, you give them the password, and they go do it anyway. Technically, then they hacked you, but they did that by social engineering because they gained your trust, they convinced you to hand over the details, and then they did something that they weren't authorized to do by you. That's all there is to it. But that's what a lot of hacking is these days, essentially. Like when when you get those phone calls, we've got errors from your computer. If you go here and, type this, we can show you all the errors. Then you give them remote access to your computer so they can fix them. Then they want you to pay. It's, yeah. The old saying is knowledge is power. If you know what they're talking about and what they're trying to show you, maybe I should go through this one day, whenever they call me next. I think they've given up for now, but I used to get calls about twice a week. I had some fun with that too. But anyway, yeah, if you know what you're looking at, and if you know that, actually, the big thing with that is that tech companies like that will rarely call you and tell you that you have problems personally with your computer. Usually you have a problem and you call them, and unless you've done that and they call you back, generally they won't contact you and tell you there's a problem because they have so many customers that they're not usually looking at you. If there is stuff like maintenance and stuff happening, generally they won't personally call you anyway and tell you there's problems. They'll send out a mass email to all their customers or a text message or something like that. Mind you, that's not foolproof either. Oh gosh, this is a really big topic that I just opened a can of worms on. But look, let's stick with the basics. Social engineering. Make sure you don't give your details out to someone you don't know or trust. That's the bottom line for it, really. That's, yeah. Like I said, I mentioned cybersecurity at the start. That's huge. We could talk about cybersecurity probably for the rest of the week and still not have enough time. There's so much with that. But yeah, the likelihood of you being hacked out of the blue without being socially engineered is not overly high. Look. Ariana says, I've installed antivirus from the link you sent me and reset my laptop as well after freeing up space, which is awesome. Good to know. I don't know if you saw just before I went through all those antivirus recommendations that I sent you earlier today. There's a lot of talk around COVID hacking. Is this true? Or as long as you have standard security, you should be fine. This is probably the simplest level of social engineering at play. So basically, there's a few things with that, but basically there's a lot of scam emails going around offering advice or information about COVID-19. And basically, if you click the link, then it will install something on your computer that you don't necessarily want to be there. So from that point of view, if you have antivirus installed and in place, generally you'll be safe. It won't cover everything, but it will cover most things, and most antivirus is updated almost daily. If not daily, at least every few days. So as new threats come out, they're fairly good at keeping on top of that kind of thing, and you should be okay. Besides that, though, there are other levels of hacking that is going on. People are, I read yesterday, day before, there is a lot of, no, Friday. Either way, in the last few days, there's been a lot of, because everyone's set up to work from home, there's a lot of remote connections that are being attacked. And then the way that those are being attacked is that, let me try to explain. There's a service called Remote Desktop. So you can access a computer as if you were sitting in front of it. Like, you can see the entire screen. So for example, if I was to share my screen again, you could see something like this. So you could see the whole screen, you can access the start menu, you can open whatever program you want. So say, for example, I've opened Notepad, you've been hacked. Like that, I don't know. I haven't, but you can access a computer as if you were sitting in front of it. I am actually sitting in front of it, but you could see it in a window like we have here on this side. And it's, you can see desktop, open everything, which means that you can also do anything you would do if you were sitting there. So basically, for people to work from home, this has been opened up to a whole bunch of people. And yeah, the big thing though with this is it's being hacked when people have easy to guess passwords. So make sure your password is secure, because at least for that particular instance, it's an extra level of security. Again, we could talk about cybersecurity all week, but I don't think we will. We've got other topics to cover. But yeah, it is a fairly big one. Make sure you have a password that's secure. What else? Don't use the same password for everything. Those two things will probably keep you safe from a whole bunch of other stuff. And the third thing is enable multi-factor or two-factor authentication wherever you can. So this is when you get a code from, say, it being sent to your phone or an app on your phone like Google Authenticator. For any service that you can, use that, because that increases your security significantly. It still doesn't make it 100% foolproof, because those methods are now being attacked as well, but at least it's another layer that's there. And the other thing that's going on with COVID hacking is that a lot of people are trying to, or a lot of hackers are trying to infect other people's computers with what is called ransomware. If you haven't heard of ransomware, this is a particularly nasty piece of software. Hopefully your antivirus will catch it and remove it before it ever gets out or gets anywhere. But what it does is it takes your files and it encrypts them with a key specifically to your instance, so your infection. So you can't access any of your files then. The only way that you can get the decryption key to then get those files out again and back to normal is to pay them an exorbitant amount of money, usually in some kind of cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, so it can't be tracked. So you can't then go to your credit card or bank account provider and go, this was a fraudulent charge. After you've paid it, it's like, well, it's Bitcoin, it's not traceable. Good luck with that. Yeah. Even if you have to buy the Bitcoin using a bank account or credit card, you've gone through a legitimate service. So, yeah, I'd like to say it's not very common, but it's becoming increasingly common. But yeah, a lot of home users, if you have basic antivirus installed, it's not usually a problem. Most of the targets are your big companies and corporations and stuff, or businesses, stuff like that. Let me go through the rest of these comments here. So, yes, do not give out. Yep, don't give out your personal information unless you trust the people. Thank you. Okay, you're welcome. And we'll skip down to this one. Will it make your device lag? Ransomware, while it's infecting your computer, like while it's encrypting your files, will make your computer very slow. Yes. But if you don't have a lot of files on there, it won't take very long, so you probably won't even notice it. If you have a lot of files, if you notice files start disappearing or not being accessible or stuff like that, usually what will happen is there'll be a note left by the hacker or by the virus for the hacker, saying this is how to contact us, this is where to find out how much to pay us, that kind of thing. It is really, really nasty. I've had to deal with it for someone, like for a business who's a client of ours. I had to it was a nightmare. I had to try and find out what the person previous to me had done for their backups, because I'd only just started working with them, only to find out the backups were 2 years old. So I had to restore what I could, try and recover what I could, which wasn't a whole lot. And yeah, it was just a nightmare. Make sure your antivirus is up to date, make sure your passwords are secure. And like I said, use two-factor or multi-factor authentication wherever you can. That will cover a lot of security straight up. Nothing is foolproof. You can still get hacked anyway, with all of that in place, but it makes it a heck of a lot harder. Yeah. Maybe we should talk about cybersecurity a bit more. But another day. We've only got 13 minutes left. Anyway, there's a couple of other questions I had here. So let's go to this one. How do I stream from my mobile device to my TV? So this is now moving to the list of questions that we had outside of the ones that came in earlier. So there's a few ways to do this. So basically, if you have a TV that's smart, that's new enough to be a smart TV, chances are it's got some kind of streaming or mirroring from your mobile device, like tablet, phone, whatever. It's probably already got that in there. Sometimes you need an app to be able to do it, so check with your smart TV manufacturer for that. Or your other options are your streaming devices or your media players. And the two that I'm going to refer to are your Apple TV and your Google Chromecast, because most smartphones now are either Apple, so an iPhone, or based on Android, which is made by Google. So with those two, you're probably going to be covered. But the two of those work a little bit differently. Basically, I've got one of each. I've got the first gen Chrome, which I picked up for $20, which wasn't too bad. So the first gen Chrome, Chrome in general, Chromecast, in general, doesn't work as a standalone device, which kind of surprised me straight out of the box, or straight off the bat, so to speak. You have to actually start playing the media first on whatever device you're going to play it from. So whether that's your computer, your phone, your tablet, whatever, you got to start the app at least first, and then connect to the Chromecast. Or actually, I think on a Google phone, like an Android phone, you can actually connect to the Chromecast and start playing it. But either way, you've got to start playback from your device. It doesn't act as a standalone device. It doesn't have a remote control. There's no other way to access it as far as I found. You need to start the media playback from your other device. Whereas the Apple TV works as a standalone device, and then you can connect to it and mirror your screen, or you can, so that means you can show any app, or you can then what they call AirPlay, use AirPlay to play from your mobile device, so your iPhone or iPad, to the Apple TV. But it does have its own separate remote control, so you can control it and stuff. But as far as I've seen, you can't use AirPlay with a Google device. And from an Apple point of view, if you want to use an Apple device on a Chromecast, the app needs to be compatible, because there's no system level connection with that. The really cool thing, though, is that it integrates from a desktop computer, or from a computer running Windows or whatever you're running, through Google Chrome. And that actually does quite a lot, because it gives you the ability then to actually share your screen through Google Chrome. I'm not sure how that works, the Chromecast, but yeah, it is fairly good like that. It's good for sharing your screen, like just being able to connect to the Wi-Fi and go, here, I want to show you my screen. So that could actually be a good option for people who want to do, say, like connect to a projector in a room for presenting. I don't know. That's one application that it could make that easier, because having dealt with production and media stuff before, having to sort out the cables and plug it in and get the output right, sometimes it's a little bit annoying. If you could just connect to the Wi-Fi and go, hey, connect to that and go, it's a lot simpler. Even trying to connect to Wi-Fi on a projector sometimes can be a little bit tricky. So, yeah. If you want an actual walkthrough on how to do that for each device, let me know and I'll see what I can sort out. But they both, I'm pretty sure they both have fairly well documented guides, as far as I know. Your other option is you could just plug, if your computer's got the output. Oh wait, no, sorry, this is mobile devices. If you were wanting to stream from a computer though, you just plug a HDMI cable in and what was your output? That could work. All right, this one I don't know if I'm going to get time to do, but let's start it anyway. What is mobile hotspot and how do I use it? So mobile hotspot is the ability to take your mobile connection on your phone or your tablet usually, and then share that by Wi-Fi to other devices, usually your computer. You can do it other ways. Your iPhone lets you connect by Bluetooth and by cable as well. Actually, I'm pretty sure you can do that on a Google Android phone as well. You can connect by USB cable. Then it's called tethering. It's a little bit different, but you can still share your internet connection, your mobile internet connection from your phone, which is still basically achieving the same thing. And you can charge your device at the same time. So that may actually be helpful because this will use more battery power. So to do that, how am I going to show this? I was not set up for this because I wasn't expecting to get down to this question today. All right, so if we go to okay, here we go. So I'll just have to hold it up. So on your iPhone, I don't have an Android phone here to show you. I'll have to do that another time. Can you read that? I can't read that. Look, there's a thing there. I'm going to have to set up screen sharing to make this work. Please hold. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to get this far down the question list today, so was not prepared for this. My bad. Okay, here we go. All right, so just in case you missed this the other day too, if you're wondering how we share our mobile screen to the computer for streaming, basically what I've done is I have set up a Zoom meeting, which I've just set up now, and then I am sending the link to myself because no one else will send me links to Zoom meetings apparently. Why would they when you're the boss? Okay, so if I send that link, basically then I can join that from my phone, but instead of using the camera, I can choose to share the screen to the Zoom meeting. And then I can share the Zoom window on the live stream. I'll probably have to walk through that one day. There we go. Okay, so share screen. Start broadcasting. 3, 2, 1. Voila. Okay, now bring that into here and we go share screen and we are going to Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. All right, so we have an iPhone screen. So to enable mobile hotspot, you go to settings, then you go to personal hotspot. So you can set your Wi-Fi password here. Huh, that's interesting. I changed my hotspot password so it wouldn't show up on the live stream, and turns out over screen sharing it doesn't show it up anyway. So my password is actually blank, but you set your password there. Oh, look, there it is. This is my hotspot. That's the password that I set. And then you basically turn it on. If I turn this on, it's going to turn Wi-Fi off, and we're going to drop the screen sharing that we just set up. So then you go to your other device, and then you can connect by Wi-Fi. You look for whichever device is there. Obviously, it's not showing up because, yeah, it's not there, but you connect to that. But the way then to tell what your device's name is you then go to General and then About, and it will say the name up the top. So the top line name, that will be the name of your hotspot connection to look for in Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi list on another device. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It's not that complicated. So yeah, in my case, we're looking for Diddy, as in Diddy Kong from Donkey Kong. Don't ask me why, because I can't even remember why I picked that name now. But yes, that's pretty much all you have to do. Personal hotspot, turn it on, look for your device, set the password for your device. That's pretty much it. One day I'll have to do an Android walkthrough. I have to get hold of an Android phone again to do that. But anyway, that pretty much brings us to the end of our hour. Hopefully that answers some questions for you all. Let's end that Zoom meeting. Done. Okay, cool. We've got a comment. Chloe says, I use mine all the time for the kids when we go out. Yes, that is a very good use for it. Just remember to keep an eye on your data usage. But a lot of people have a lot of data these days, so that may not necessarily be a problem, but just something to be aware of just in case, because it could end up costing you a lot of money. Yeah. Answered that question. Cool. We are done. So that's Tech Happy Hour for another day. Like I said, we're doing this every weekday, so 5 p.m. you can come and we'll spend an hour answering your tech questions. If you have questions, you can join us live. There'll be a link every day, like to join that particular day's live stream. Or if not, then you can, like, if you don't want to do that, if you're camera shy or for whatever reason, you don't have to join us live. You can send us your question, get in touch with us using any of our contact details on our website, which is www.the.mil.com. Jump on there, find one of our contact details, send us a message, call us, send us a text message, email, Facebook message, send us a DM on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you want. Send us a message by carrier pigeon if you're sure it's going to get here. However you need to get in contact with us, feel free to do that. That's pretty much it. Enjoy the rest of your day. Well, your night now, probably, because it's getting dark out. Well, that's not a phrase I usually say. Anyway, have a good one, and thanks for dropping in. Hope to see you next time. Thanks. Bye.